At least one of those issues you just highlighted there with China may feature in these discussions between the two leaders. And I just wonder how South Korea should walk what can be quite a delicate diplomatic line here, because clearly the Biden administration is reaching out to their allies in Asia in part to counter influence from China. But I imagine that South Korea doesn't want to encounter any backlash as a result from Beijing.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think that is actually a big part of this summit. As you mentioned in your piece earlier, there are lots of agreements that are going to be coming on chips, on EVs, on batteries, on vaccine diplomacy. These are all things that Biden and the leaders of India, Australia, and Japan talked about in the Quad Summit last month. They're all things designed to create a more resilient supply chain to deal with vulnerabilities exposed by China during COVID. And so it's going to be a balancing act for Korea, because on the one hand, they're going to agree to all these things that fit very much with the Quad and the deliverables of the Quad. On the other hand, they don't want to look like they're ganging up on China. The hard part for Korea is that they can't hedge, right? They can't not make a decision, because if they try to hedge between the United States and China, they don't do anything good for the alliance and they piss off the Chinese. So that's not a policy that's going to work.
Yes, no, that makes sense. That's why we leave this difficult work to the diplomats, right? What does a win look like for South Korea coming away from this meeting? Because you mentioned areas of technology and chips that will be an issue. I know the U.S. is looking for a win on that front, but also we expect some COVID diplomacy here to take place, and perhaps South Korea looking for some assistance on vaccines. How likely is that?
So I think the South Koreans have put a very big emphasis on vaccine diplomacy as being the big deliverable of this summit. President Moon has promised herd immunity of 70% by November, but he won't secure enough vaccines till the end of the year. So they have a real vaccine gap in the second quarter, and they want help from the United States. And that would most likely come in the form of vaccine swap, where the United States would provide vaccines now, and South Korea, when it receives its supply at the end of the year, would pay back the United States. It's not clear where that is right now. There's a lot of potential for agreement on production in South Korea. I think that's more likely, but that won't produce back vaccines for another 6 to 8 months. So there could be production agreements, but the big deliverable for Moon is some sort of vaccine swap. And at least to me right now, it's not clear whether that has been agreed to.